slow. Yeah, I'm watching the rise, and I wouldn't say I'm shocked, cause I'm hardly surprised. This one's for the ride, this one's for who knew I'd make it, just needed some time. This one's for my wife, could've left 1,000 times just so by my side. This one's for the grind, I knew it would happen, just had the strength in my mind. To the videos, they thought I was a black guy. That's hard to get over. I'm foreigner in the sport, but I'm fully devoted. I don't take it for granted that the door's been open. I knew I was different, I knew I was chosen. A breadwinner, but I'm soft-spoken. Authentic like a 5950 and there's no cap. Let's have a toast to that. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Let's have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Let's have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Have a toast for the
Hello. Hey, y'all. It's me, y'all. It's SB.
dearly beloved.
Listen, how are you all doing tonight? Y'all see that intro? It is tonight, the night for the reunion show, The Standard. Y'all had, listen, guys. Listen, look at those four grown-up folks on that thumbnail. Y'all are not going to believe it. Tonight is the night for the reunion show, The Standard. This is so exciting, y'all. This has been over a year, but wait till you all see these people. I bet they just cheese and looking at themselves a year ago. But anyway, before we get started, I want to say hello to a few people, right? And then we're going to jump into it because I am so excited and I just want to hear from them what they've been doing. And listen, we appreciate all of you for being here. Y'all could have been anywhere else on this Thursday night, but y'all decided to come hang out with SB and The Standard, and I appreciate it so much. Dr. Steele, good to see you. Antonio, good to see you. Jolie, hello. I think I saw Miss Sherelle. Sherelle, hello. How are you, ma'am? C. Jones, hello. It's good to see you. Jojo, what's up? I'm surprised to see JB. I'm surprised to see JB not up there with his lady. Hey, look, you don't know what we doing tonight? You don't know what kind of secrets we got? We just stick around, JoJo. Just stick around. Was it somebody else, Mr. Boss, that I missed at the top? No? Okay, so listen. JG, what's up? It's good to see you guys. Listen, as you come in, make sure you are giving us actually the thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do. It's SBU Live. Subscribe to the channel. Turn that alert bell on so you can be with me every time I go live. And I would appreciate it so much. But tonight, y'all, it is the night for The Standard. Hey, Trey, and we're going to bring all of them up right now. No particular order, but we got Mr. Cheeky Banter.
Hello.
Miss Blooming Ebony. Miss Cam, look at Cam. Cam, I ain't seen you in over a year. Oh, my God. And we got grown man Jedi Mike over here. Hey, y'all.
How you doing?
Hey. I'm good. Oh God, y'all. What do y'all think about this? Don't tell me yet. Just hold on to that thought. Hey, Chaotic, how you doing? Listen, this is so exciting. I see y'all on that intro, and it's just amazing. It's only been a year ago, but I'm gonna go to. Well, first of all, I'm gonna tell the little secret. No, I'm gonna let y'all tell it. We're gonna go to Jedi Mike first. Jedi, I know you're not feeling well. Thank you so much for being here. I want you first to reflect, because a year ago when you were here, your topic of discussion was free will. Do you recall that?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay, so I want you to talk on it briefly, but you got to tell us where you are, your status, all of that. Introduce whoever you might have in the background, but I want you to hurry up and do that so you can get out of here, feel better, and I appreciate you so much for being here. And I just want to hear your thoughts really quick.
Mm-hmm. Hey, y'all. Hey, Kim. How you guys doing? Miss y'all.
It's good.
Tamika also said hi too. She's on a prayer call right now. But one thing I will say is that that with free will is that you have the freedom to make the choices that you make in your life, and you have to accept the benefits and consequences of those decisions, right? And mean that life is not what happens to you is how you respond, right? And because and when you actually make the initiative being a man or woman of your word, things change in your life, especially, especially if you're believers. Prayer changes things, but also faith without work is dead. And I can say in this past year, I told, security bosses, I feel like I've lived, the best year of my life. And not only just testament to, to my wife as well, but also to the fact that, yeah, I'm a different person. People say I'm grown now. No, I'm done with school. Don't have a good paying job out of college and stuff. And I definitely feel I've built my kingdom from the ground up, and I have my queen by my side. So again, it's nothing but give glory to God for that. But also, I also got to thank the people, the network of friends that I had around that time. Obviously, Cheeky Cam, Ebony is like you are who you're around with. And I can say I'm around with amazing people, so that type of behavior, and yeah, it's me, yo. Yeah. Um, but look at her. Anyway, sorry. Um, but yes, and I honestly feel like we the way we kind of went through the marriage, we eloped. We didn't had no big wedding. We literally had it on the second floor. Of our apartment complex. My dad, who's a pastor, he officiated the wedding. We had our, had our in-laws and stuff there, and again, it was everything where it needed to be, and we didn't not have break a wallet or nothing. We just did what we said we're gonna do. We know we're focused on the marriage, focus on the marriage license, and get it, and getting to it. So, uh, yeah, I felt like when like this year is really a case study for me, knowing that. At the time I was dealing with depression, last year. The security boss was aware of that, and this is also just testament to people just not giving up, because again you don't know that you're right next to your next blessing. So um, again, I said I just felt like I lived the best year of my life, and that's also just thanks to you and the people around me. So
Listen, that is an outstanding story. I'm a proud mama, y'all. Because listen, the standard is just the standard. We chose these people because we think, or we thought, and still do think that they are the standard. These are young people. They living in a modern time, but they're doing exactly what they want to do the correct way. Now, these are my opinions, and they are happy. I shouldn't use the word happy. I don't like that word. They are quite satisfied with the decisions that they have made amongst all this craziness that we are in, and all the different oppositions that we have, and different opinions, and everybody's against marriage, and it can't be done, and you got to have a $30,000 wedding and a $10,000 ring, and you got to be a man has to be finished in order for him to be good, and all of that stuff. Jedi has put it all to bed. It's not supposed to be that way. It didn't have to be that way. You can find a beautiful young woman that builds with you, and you can have exactly what you want. And you are definitely the standard. I love the pictures that you all sent. Tell Tamika hello. I know you're not feeling well, so we're going to let you go. But is there anything else you want to add before you go take care of yourself?
Yes, to all the young people, again, because I'm not speaking on behalf of me, but also the people on this panel. We have definitely experienced a lot of ageism in this group the last 2 years and stuff, right? But obviously, 3 out of the 4 of us, are married and actually said what we were going to do, right? And also just made better decisions in our lives, right? We didn't have no talking points. We break the talking points. And we didn't basically follow the standard of why people are not being dysfunctional, why they're being dysfunctional. We made the standard ourselves, so which is why I encourage people young, especially young Black couples, again, is that you're gonna have a lot of people in your corner. They're gonna be looking at you like, why are you settling down early? Oh man, you just young, you don't know what you're talking about. But again, as I said, is that you have to define the standard for yourself, and also the proof is in the pudding, and here we are sitting at the dining table. So
I like that. So listen, you got to tell us, how long have you been married?
last week we celebrated 6 months, so it's 6 months and 1 week.
Oh, thank you so much, Jedi. Listen, I know y'all ain't going nowhere, so keep us informed. We're going to continue to do this, hopefully. But you know what? Even though only 3 out of 4 are married, we still are the standard. Cheeky is still the standard. In my eyes, he is still the standard. So no matter what, even if he decides never to be married, he is still the standard. Chica, I know, I think that way about you. So don't let
Right.
nobody tell you different. So anyway, thank you so much for that, Jedi. We're going to move on. If you want to come back up, you know what to do. But if not, we're going to pray for you. Hopefully you feel better. And
Thank
hopefully
you.
maybe Tamika can stick her head in before the show is over. But if not, thank you so much for being here.
Will do. Thank you. Yeah, I'll see if I can try to get back though. But I got to go get some
All
things.
right.
Yeah.
Sure. Sure. All right. Thank you. Listen. Oh, y'all, that was good. It is so wonderful to have y'all here. Y'all don't even understand. Do y'all know? I ain't got to tell y'all how this space in most places are so much against what you all are doing in all ways. It is just amazing to see that you all have kicked down the door, walked it out, found somebody that you could love, like, and build with and be good. It's just amazing to see. Now you're going to have a whole lot of opposition. People going to say, well, SB, they've already said it. SB, well, anybody can get married. Talk to them 5 years from now. Guess what? I'm talking to him now, and 5 years from now, if I need to talk to him, I will continue to talk to him because we're going to walk this thing all the way out. They're going to be forever because that's what marriage is about. So anyway, now next we are going to go to Miss Cam. Cam, I think you were first on the list. Your topic of discussion was submission for a woman, a wife, and a mother. And how appropriate could this be? You first got to catch us up because I think you have hit every last one of those topics since the last time we talked to you. So tell us about what's going on.
Yeah, so I had a baby, as you know. I don't know how many people know that, but he's almost 4 months. He'll be 4 months next week. Me and Jonathan celebrated 1 year of being married in November. So yeah, we're just really speeding through this thing, but it's every day. I think we learn something different. Oh, there we are.
There you are. We'll
Every
show it again, but definitely.
I think we learn something different about this thing called life and how to move through marriage, and we become more mature, and it really is a journey like no other, right? So yeah, we also eloped, right? And we just had our ceremony in the park, and it was really sweet. Oh, I'm kind of like emotional about this picture right now. It
But this
feels
is
like so long
the
ago, but
It hasn't been that long ago. It
yeah,
feels like it's been a long time ago, but it hasn't been that long. I am so proud of you all. But it's just
yeah.
it's the common thread that you said that, even myself, I got married in a very short period of time. I went to the courthouse, you eloped, Jedi eloped, per se, So it's just like it doesn't take all this. I am so glad that you guys are the standard and you're here to tell other individuals that are thinking about this that it's all about the person that you with. It's not all about the extra stuff. It is just so good. I know what I gotta ask you though. Are you baking bread and making milk?
Oh yeah, I bake bread almost every day. Now I've been smarter about it, and put some of the dough in the freezer. That way it's just easier the next time I want some. So yeah, the bread is always there. The milk is
Say that once more.
the milk. I make it, but it tastes better when you just buy it because it's just easier that way, and it tastes better. So
Well, your milk is for the baby. It's for the baby. You can go ahead and buy some from the store for baby.
oh
No, I'm just
yeah,
saying. No, I know. I was talking about the milk you was talking. I got it. But listen, if you had to say something to a young lady or a group of women that are in their 20s that were thinking about getting married, what would you share with them about something that has been very easy, or I should say good for you?
um. Well, I will say this. Marriage is a commitment, and it's not for everybody. Honestly, everyone is not meant to go this route. It's a really you have to be resilient. You have to really focus on the bigger picture. And so I understand why some people don't do it, right? But if you want to go this route, then you have to put the other person first, which is not easy, right? And I think the easiest way, I guess, to do it is to have some sort of faith in God in particular, because for me, I think that's the way to look at it, or the perspective that you need to have is like a faithful perspective. Speaking specifically on religion, because I think that without it, you're gonna easily break. Um, you're gonna want to give up. You're gonna be like, this is not worth it, because you don't have like a bigger picture. And so really, I don't know, like if you don't have a religion, you should find one and really get into your word, because without it, it's going to be easy for you to stray.
That is so true. We were just saying the other day, sometimes I've heard from someone that was a non-believer that marriage is just not natural. And, you know, a lot of people were opposing that, but I thought about it and I was like, as an unbeliever, I can agree that you would think that marriage is not natural because it is a spiritual, biblical concept. Becoming one with a person, you have to believe in that and have faith that that could actually happen. And if you don't, then you would think all this sacrificing that you do is very much unnatural. You would say, why would I do this? Why am I doing this? What sense does this make? So I believe exactly what you said, what you're saying. And I've done this for like 28 years. Now I can definitely tell you, it is very much sacrificing, or, you know, there are things that go on that you will have growing pains from that. But that's exactly what you're doing. You're growing. And eventually all that stuff gets better, or it makes no difference. The purpose of what you're doing outweighs the growing pains, or it begins to be easier. All these things just kind of go away. And then you look back on it and be like, I can't believe I got upset about that. All that stuff kind of just makes sense. You know, it grows you up at the same time as it's fulfilling you. And you just have to weigh those things. And for me, it's always, my husband always outweighed the cons of being married. So,
dearly beloved,
I hear you back there. So I mean, it's just so, listen, I got to tell you this story because JB has told this story on several different platforms. He just is crazy about the fact that you know how to put shampoo in the shampoo bottle before he even asks you to put shampoo in the shampoo bottle. So it's just outstanding to hear him say something like that. Because guess what, y'all? 2 years ago, you know that on these platforms, it was a war. A woman ain't doing this, ain't none of them no good. I'm gonna go fly away and get me another. You know, that was just how it was. And now you all are married. And now they see things, men are seeing things different, and women are seeing things different. And it makes sense that we're married. And that's exciting to see, because it's sometimes me as a married woman, I'm trying to share with young women how it is to be married. And I just know they don't get it, because it's like, they don't see what I see. And there's no way I can help them either, because they're not married. So to actually have individuals that I can say, see, he gets it. She put shampoo in his bottle without him asking. I know that sounds crazy, but he got it. He was like, you just don't understand how valuable that is. I'm thinking, okay. So he really appreciates you. Exactly. But it's so many though. That was just one that really just took him over, but it's so many. And you have just definitely made his day easier. And it's hard to share that with people, because it's like, you just don't know. You know, I don't know what to say. So that is excellent. So definitely tell us, you've been married 1 year. Your little boy is 4 months old.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
okay. And so,
28.
On the 28th. So how are you doing with submission?
Easier said than done. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, okay? But you know, it's a practice every day, and honestly, I think being a wife is an art, and it's something that you have to learn. You have to like listen to other wives and their experiences, and it actually helps to know that, you know, it's not easy. Like, it's not an easy thing to submit to somebody else, because we're all grown, okay, and we all have our own ideas, and we all think about life in a certain way. And especially when, you know, I got married at 28, and so I've lived my life by myself. I've already had things established, and I didn't have to answer to anybody or to listen to anybody. So now doing it is completely different. And yeah, so you have to be committed. You have to be committed. You have to have a reason for why you're doing it, because it's easy to not do it. Technically, you don't have to do it, And I think having a son
Thank
makes
you.
me want to do it more, want to submit more or better, let's say. Um, because one, like I see my husband and my son, and so I'm like, since my son is half of him, like when we have like hard times between each other, I think of me having a hard time with my son. Like I don't know what part of Jonathan went into our son Austin. So I try to love every part of him because I'm gonna see it in my son. So, and then also I want him to have a wife that is easy to deal with, and I just don't want to regret not submitting or doing my job at submitting, um, and like that like play a role in how I parent or what kind of woman my son gets. And yeah, so it because we have a child, I think it makes it a little easier to see the bigger picture. Um, and also like keeping my faith in mind. Why God wants us to submit to our husbands. It really matters. It really matters to me. Anyways.
No, it matters to me too. I actually understand exactly what you're saying because you don't want to disappoint. You don't want to disappoint God. You want to, how can I say it? You want to master this goal of being a wife, a woman, and a mother. You want to get it right. You have to be cooperative. It's very difficult because you are submitting your whole entire will. You're saying, husband, um, you're taking care of the situation and I'm trusting that you're doing so. And every day you are definitely submitting yourself to him a little bit more, a little bit more. You're having more trust in this person to make sure that they take care of you. Now, some would say, oh God, I can't do that. But actually, if you do that, it makes your life so much easier. It
Yeah,
really does.
I
If you,
it does. It does. And it takes a lot of like we since we get to do life together, it's a lot easier. Like there's a lot of things that I don't have to like burden my mind with. And so the least I could do is to submit and to submit better, and think of that as my service to him, as we should be aiming to serve each other in this marriage.
absolutely. That's outstanding. So listen, is there anything else you want to leave with us? You don't have to go, but I am going to move on to Miss Chris. But if there's anything else you want to add before I move on?
No, I'm just excited to be here. Like I'm with my friends again,
Yep.
and I wish that I didn't have to leave so quickly, but it's nice to see you guys. And hey, Cheeky, I see you in the YouTube streets, and just wanted I'm seeing you. I see what you do, and you're doing a great job. So keep on keeping on.
It's like I haven't seen y'all in a whole year. I mean, you know how quick that year went by? I mean, YouTube years must be like, I don't know. It's like a lot goes on, but in a little bit of time. It's a lot
Yes.
going on in a little bit of time. Okay, but we're going to go on down here to Miss Bloom and Ebony. So can I tell the secret? Can I tell the secret? Because we sure can't tell by just looking at you right now. So anyway, we're hoping that she arrives today. Miss Bloom and Ebony is pregnant and the baby's gonna come right now. What can we do? We need a reunion special surprise. She is ready to come. And what can we do? Have you been jogging today?
No, not jogging. Not even close.
What can we do? All right, I'm just kidding. But anyway, she is with child. The baby is due any time now. But we're gonna start over and just say, Miss Ebony, Miss Bloom and Ebony, you spoke on femininity. Tell us now what you think about femininity and where you are with the baby and all those other things that you've done in this past year.
Yes. So, oh my gosh, there's so much. So I actually took a break, I think shortly after the standard, or maybe right before the standard, to kind of work on my femininity again, because I had gotten too deep into the manosphere and I noticed that it was kind of like making me narrow-minded and kind of tainting my view of things. And so I went ahead and I said, okay, I need to figure out what's going on, like with me. I need to take a step back. I'm telling women that this is a great life. They should be working towards becoming a wife, but I wasn't a wife yet. And I'm talking about this life, talking about the action that these women can put into getting the life that they want. And I said, you know what, let me just take a break from the manosphere, go and do the things I'm telling other women to do, and then see what happens. And so I took a break June of last year, and I hired a femininity coach, and I ended up doing about 12 weeks of lessons. So the first 6 weeks was on femininity, and then the second 6 weeks was on was a wife school. And my coach, she basically told me, you know, you have to do this. You have to work on this, keep doing it, and you'll see a change in about 2 or 3 months. And so that was around like June 15th. And by August 15th, I saw a huge change in my relationship. And so basically, one thing that I will say about femininity, what I've learned that I think I had to relearn after being in this space for so long, was a big part of it is empathy. It's just understanding people and listening to people and knowing that you can trust in the process. Is not something that can always be calculated, can always be analyzed. And that, you know, you have to, I'm not going to say it's a lonely road, but you definitely have to choose what you listen to and what you see so incredibly wisely. You cannot allow just anything into your bubble. And I knew this with friendships, but I didn't quite apply this with what I was seeing in the manosphere space. And so I basically started watching more homemaking videos, femininity videos. I slimmed down the lives I would watch quite a bit. So I think I only watch about 2 lives now, including yours, just so I would have a better environment. But one thing I would say is when it comes to femininity, the manosphere probably isn't the best space to learn it, right? You should definitely find someone who's living the life that you want and can kind of guide you. I did your femininity course for a bit, and it definitely helped me to get things into perspective.
So, you know, with me and what you, everything you said was just so dead on, because that road is, I hate it. I don't want to use the word lonely either, but it's very thin. It's a very narrow road. And when I express that, me being an older woman, I express it and I get so much heat for the way that I express it, because it's just real. You don't have a large space for too many different influences. You can't allow it to happen. Because as women, we are easily influenced, and sometimes it's not good. We definitely need to know, if we want the life of being a wife, we have to understand the purpose for it and what our job looks like when we're in that situation, because that's what we're here for. And it could be very fulfilling. We can actually master it, and it could be very good. But there's so many outside forces that will tell you, you lose yourself. You can't just, it can't just be all about that. You need to do this, and you need to do this, and you need to do that. I happen to know from reading books, from having that alignment with God, that me being a wife is very fulfilling, if done correctly. I have a purpose for doing this. This is the job that I've been given. I can do any other career I want, but I can't lose what I've already been given as my husband's helpmate. I mean, that is, nothing supersedes our marriage. And it could be very, very fulfilling. You can help others. You could be that example, but it is a very narrow road, and you do have to protect it. You have to protect yourself along with your husband and your marriage. You have to. You have to. And it's just so, it can be penetrated so easily. That's the thing. You never know in which direction something can be coming, that can come from, that you may not be ready for. And it could look so innocent. And it even may be innocent on the surface, or done unconsciously, but it could definitely alter your thoughts just enough to let something in, that now my marriage has a little wrinkle in it that it didn't have before I started doing this. So you definitely have to keep that road narrow, and you have to stay focused on what you're doing. Again, lonely may not be it, but sometimes it may look that way. It really might. So keep people close to you that you know are walking that same path and have those good results, because they are always willing to embrace and speak to you and do whatever it is that you may feel as though you're missing. Just keep that in mind. I'm always here, because I have lived that life. I was 25 when I got married, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Exactly. And I've been doing it now for 28 years. So I still know exactly what you're talking about. And it's, I don't have the answers for why it is this way, but it is definitely that way. So I'm definitely relating to you on that. Definitely.
Yeah.
So tell us, how long have you been married?
It'll be 6 months Christmas Eve.
Oh.
Yeah, so we're almost in the 6 month mark.
Oh, this is so exciting. We saw
Yes.
the wedding picture. Exciting. And she
Yeah.
will be coming. So can we get her to come out early tonight, maybe? Is that possible? Probably not, right?
Hopefully not tonight. I really want a 2024 baby because I got engaged in 2022, married 2023. So I'm hoping for the baby 2024 to keep it.
She got to hold out another 10 days.
Yes.
Well, good luck with
Hopefully.
that. Good
Fingers
luck with that.
crossed.
Good
Oh,
luck.
this is exciting. I can't wait to see these babies because I already know we got a little JB. I already know. I know. And now we got to see exactly what Ebony's baby. Oh, this is exciting. So I just can't wait. Don't leave me out, y'all. Y'all got to take some pictures when it's time. So listen, Bloom and Ebony, do you have anything else to add before we go to Mr. Cheeky? But before that, what is something you would say to a young woman that is interested in being married? What was the most important thing you think step you took in order to prepare yourself to be a wife?
The investment, I would say, make the investment. Whatever time and energy you would put into getting a certification or starting a new career, going to school, put very similar, if not the same, if not more energy into becoming a graceful and pleasant young woman, a great and appreciative wife, and a loving and nurturing mother. I also tell her that she's the average of who she surrounds herself with. And so whoever you add into your bubble, they can bring your average down or they can bring your average up. And so be very, very aware of who you include in your life. They can change so much.
That is very good. Oh God, I love it. All right, so let's go on to Mr. Cheeky Banter. Sir, how are you doing?
I'm about yourself.
Doing very, very well. So you the only one that's not married.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Yeah, well, we
been
saw this coming. It had to be somebody.
I've been hearing some things.
Oh
No, I'm
man.
just actually kidding. You don't have to be married. Not being married is not a sin because you are a standard no matter what. So whatever you decide to do, we're going to support it. But if you decide to get a woman and marry her, we there also. But tell us what's been going on with you this last year.
So this past year, as far as like career and things like that, things have been going well. I mean, as best as it can go for a janitor, but it's going pretty well. Things are all right. I think this year has been a lot of work in regards to like self and dealing with some of the things that I need to change as an individual and how I treat the people that I think or not I think, but the people that are close to me. So it's been very introspective year. It's been very interesting. I'm not gonna lie.
Your topic was discipline, the man, the husband, and the father. So I guess we're now dealing with the man.
Yeah. That's the hardest part probably of that is being just the man, right? The man is such a broad and general term that's become very nuanced and um it's hard to point out, right? Because that's something you have to determine for yourself with the help of other men that you trust. And I think it's so easy to forget how influential people and their presence are on you. So you're bound to go one way and another way because you're trying to figure out what it means to be a man and how does that look and how do you apply that belief and ethic to the people around you and to yourself. So yeah, it's been interesting. It's been a ride. I'm not gonna lie.
You've had to take a couple of breaks here and there throughout this year. Am I right about that from YouTube? Or you decided
Absolutely.
to take a break? Okay.
Yeah, no, those breaks were definitely needed. I don't think people really realize um how for lack of better words, how vulnerable you are when you introduce your ideas and who you are as an individual to, the world for it to be criticized. And people just completely either neglect it or they don't realize that, hey, these are real ideas, these are real things, this is really who I am. So to always be questioned about it, or to always be put in a situation where it's like, why are you doing this the way you're doing this? You're making me frustrated, or you're making me you're not thinking, you're not doing enough to make this enjoyable. So I have to take a break. But yeah.
So that kind of sounds like the world according to Cheeky. you know, you're really making this very hard for me. So I'm gonna have to check out right now.
Yeah, it's more. Yeah, it's how it works.
Well, you know what? See, the part I think sometimes we struggle with is that you are a standard. And sometimes when it just like Blooming Ebony said, we have to be careful who we allow in our bubble. And in these spaces, we tend to get into a square beside someone we don't even know, but in real life, they wouldn't be in our bubble. And you're trying to, I'm not going to say, I'm going to use the word appeal, but I'm just saying you having a conversation, or you're trying to mix ideas with people, again, that would probably never be in your bubble. And it could probably get frustrating, or not even, they may not even know who you are. And it could be a lonely, thin, narrow road that you're walking down, and you don't know that because you just being who you are. You're just being yourself. You didn't plan it that way. It was just who you are, the way you live, the way you conduct your life, the things you do and don't do. And you just thinking it's just coming quite easy to you. But other people, it's very strange. It's a different idea because they allow any and most things. So now you don't understand. And it's very true. But that was for me what I saw in all of you, that you all are the standard. And actually, people should be taking notes from you all on how you actually do or have conducted your life and the things that you seek after or to accomplish, instead of, I say, adding or being controversial to what you're doing. I would say, you know what? She's somebody that I can follow because she has a good handle on this. She just said that she took a 12-week course on how to be a cooperative, feminine woman that equals a wife, a woman, and a mother, or a wife, lady, and a mother. Who does that? That's somebody that wants to major this. She's a winner. We others, most of us just wing it. You just wing it. But she wants to do it so well. This is what she's doing. And she accomplished it. She now is married. She's with child. And she's on a successful road to have a long marriage relationship with her husband. She's not out here arguing and fussing about anything. But how many people are willing to do that? That's the standard. That is this is something that is required if you want to do this, people. That's what marriage actually looks like. You're reading the books. You're putting in the work, if that's what you really want. Because we haven't seen many examples of people that do that. People really, in the past, probably just got married. They just hooked up and just called it marriage. Nobody actually pours into each other to make sure this thing can last for the duration. And she's doing the work. She's done the work. We've had conversations. She was in Wife Ed. We've had serious conversations on what can I do? How's my mindset needs to change, and Cam and JB the same way. JB is amazing. He wasn't a part of the standard, but the fact that he's been so outspoken, or I haven't seen him in a while, but he was so outspoken to the fact that how it's kind of altered and changed his mind. It was like, oh my God, right here in front of our eyes, his mind was just, I knew what Cam wanted. I knew you wanted to be a wife. I knew you were going to be submissive. That was obvious to me. But JB used to fight. He'd be y'all know that. I ain't got to tell you that.
Wait a minute. Well, let's ask Cam. He's still a fighter, ain't he?
Yeah, but not like what if we would have asked JB 2 years ago. But a woman putting shampoo in her man's bottle is valuable. He'd be like, what the hell? That ain't valuable. What's that? I can put shampoo in my own bottle. That's exactly what he would have said. Would y'all agree?
I don't know. I really don't know. I'm being honest, because JB has always had the thing about JB was he's always had foresight to what he wanted. And
no, I'm talking about
the value of a woman.
That part.
No,
and I
think he did always
he would have.
Yeah,
he would have. I think he would have. He would know that he was looking for that.
Of course. No,
particular you know, and he wasn't going to settle. And
Right.
he I don't want to say like he's like hard, but he was like, you know, serious about women being women. Okay. And he didn't, there's not a lot of examples of that online. So I think he was just expressing like how frustrating that was.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Okay, got
In
you.
this space, he would say that ain't happening. This is, you know, he was willing to go out of the country. And then now he relaxed in some way. Something happened. Now, y'all mad, I know what happened. But anyway, the fact that he found it here in this space, I'm just saying it can happen because I hear so much. Again, though, marriage is an option in this space now. 2 years ago, it was not. People was jumping off the roof before they would want to get married or even talk marriage talk. So in the last year, marriage has been an option and people have been warming up to it a bit. There are still people like Cheeky Banter that has now said that he doesn't want to be married because at first he wasn't saying that. Now, Cheeky, I think I've heard you say you don't no longer want a wish to be married. Is that true?
So the stipulations on marriage for me is different for sure. It's not the same. I don't mind marriage as long as I think things are even, right? I don't believe in the same way of just, hey, look, get married because that's what you're supposed to do, right? At some point in time, I think a lot of people would say that, and I just don't agree
Hmm.
with it. I think more people need to be very methodical with their decision making, especially when it comes to the spouse and a life changing decision like marriage. Like I'm listening to these two women. By the way, shout out to y'all, right? Because your role within marriage is incredibly difficult. I don't know because I'm me, right? But both of these women are accomplished. They're not stupid. They have degrees. They've had education. They have all the things necessary for them to be independent and also make their own decisions, but they decided not to do that. That level of sacrifice is stupendous, right? And I'm not going to deny the role of the man and what he sacrificed because that's my thing. I know what men sacrifice. I've seen it from my father. I've been in a relationship. I know what I was doing. It's like, so I'm not so quick, right? That I think people romanticize and idealize so many things about marriage without actually taking the time. Just, hey, take a step back, breathe, don't be doubtful, but breathe. Do you want this? And then make a real life decision. Because once you do it, like they said, resiliency, commitment. If you're not that person, then you shouldn't do it.
That is
You better
true.
figure yourself out. You better sit down and shut up and think and pray.
I mean, you're exactly right. But just like you said, we romanticize it so much. Both of these people, including myself, including Tamika and Jedi also, we didn't go for big weddings. There was no romanticizing with these weddings that we had. Mine was at the courthouse. Jedi said he is, and Tamika was on the second floor of their apartment building. So it was the man or the woman is what we want. We wanted the relationships. So you are exactly right. And if it's a wedding that we must have, 30, $50,000, very expensive ring or what have you, that is something that you would have to think about seriously. Second, third thoughts, like, are you sure you really want to be married? Because this is kind of like a whole lot. This is not very smart. I know people are gonna get mad about that, but if you look at the big picture, it is not smart to have a $50,000 wedding. Or I mean, even if you have the money, because there's so many other things that can come up throughout your marriage life that money could have went to, or just invest in it so you can go buy a house free and clear, or whatever. Invest your money for retirement. Who knows what? Things like that are not smart if you're just looking to have a very good, solid relationship with the man or woman that you're with. I think that's the point I'm trying to make. So,
So you mind if I ask you a question real quick?
sure, sure.
So do you think I think you let me know what you think. I think that people, kind of remove that materialistic aspect of marriage, but the internal or the intrinsic changes that's required for marriage is what I think more women are being vocal about. So not even $30,000 rings, more so the sacrificial behavior, the mindset that must change, the mental metamorphosis required in order to be a good wife. I think more people think about that than we give credit. What do you think?
I hear both sides. Just like someone now is saying in the comment section, no shaming on nice, fun weddings. You know,
That's crazy.
I know who it is. I know. But still, the fact that I mean, I don't know what's real about this person, but just the fact that she thought about that says that is the idea of some, and it really is. I have people often say, you know, the ring got to cost $10,000. They look forward to that. This is true. But even when you're talking about sacrificing, Chiki, it's just such a different world to be committed in a covenant relationship with one person that feels the same way about you. It's just a different look. You look upon that person totally different. We are women submitting our lives to men. We're saying to them, you have me, you got to take care of me. I am now yours. And what are you going to do? You are now mine. We are becoming one. Can you imagine what that actually feels like and looks like? It's deep. It's no longer a surface relationship. You know, if you do it and you're committed to it, it could be very gratifying. You're not missing anything. It's actually the way it's supposed to be. And then you have babies and they look like y'all. Have you ever seen a family where everybody look alike? You know, and everybody got the same last name. It's like, dang, you know what I'm saying? When is the last time you've seen that? That to see that is like, you know, it's like it puts a big smile on your face when you see that everybody in the family look just like mama, dad, and kid. You like, dang, all y'all look alike. That's like a joyous occasion because nowadays you got, oh, he looked like his daddy, you know, the one down the street, his last name Jackson, you know, and then, you know, that kind of stuff. So to have it, what these ladies are creating is just like, you're right. It's a phenomenal thing. And I wish that most people would want to do that. If you're going to create, now, if you're not going to create, then okay. But if you're going to create, that should be what you desire because it's a good place to be, good, safe place to be is within a marriage being covered by your husband. It definitely is. But I do hear a lot of that sacrificing. But Chiki, are we really going to reduce being married down to cleaning the house?
I didn't say cleaning the house, but if they want, I mean, and that's not how I view marriage, but
not you, but that is what they do.
The people who, I don't know. That's a very difficult role for me to be put in because honestly, that's most women's role, right? I don't, in most cases, most men are not thinking when I get married, I'm about to be cleaning the house. So it's hard for me to even fathom that level of sacrifice in that way because if we're going to stick to traditional gender roles and whatnot, I'm not going to be doing it. So me thinking about going to work every day is normal already. So me trying to put myself in that position and go, well, that's unfair to think that you have to sacrifice in this way is kind of hard for me personally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't reduce marriage. I would not do that.
Well, but that's what's being done. But you know what? There is a blueprint to marriage in the way it's supposed to be done where it is a sacrifice, woman and man, but cleaning the house can be something. It's my role, is the part that I play because my husband has put me in a way or in a position where I'm responsible for doing this. I don't have to worry about, I think Cam said it, that she doesn't have to worry about so many things now that go on in the world or things that would come in that she had to worry about as a single woman. As a married woman, we don't have to worry about a lot of things that, you know, your husband takes care of. And it's like that because you do have a role as a wife, a mother, and the mother to take care of this house or to take care of whatever it is as a helpmate that needs to be done. A woman shouldn't be doing all these things, working 40, 60 hours of work per week, then coming home, cleaning, kids, and all that is a lot. And we will fail at being a wife or maybe even a mother if there's too many things that are put up on our shoulders. That's just how it goes. So we do have to think about this thing, go into it, in my opinion, the right way. But so often, you know, it's, you know, people, we have so much dysfunction. It's been said that, you know, a woman, you need to do 50%. But what is 50% of what? It's not, we're not designed to do that, in my opinion. I guess people do what they have to do, but it's a way that it can be done, and it doesn't require that part from a woman. She can do 100% of things that are in her role house to do, but it doesn't equal 50% of this marriage relationship. If you understand it, it's 100%, but it's the things that she should be responsible for. If that makes sense. in my opinion. Does that make sense, Cheeky? Or are you still stuck on 50-50?
Oh man, that's never going anywhere. I think as long as we are in the US of A, and women are out here making that big wop, you know what I'm saying, making that big money, bringing home that bacon, you can pay out these damn bills.
Well, you know what? I guess
But again, if I'm making all the money and I decide I don't want you to do that and you accept that, then I'm cool with that too. But I'm
yeah.
gonna let y'all know I'm not closed-minded. Like if you have a 50-50 relationship or 100, whatever, however you want to do this, then so be it. Do what works, because what I'm noticing is everyone doesn't have the luxury of Cam or the Bloom and Amity. And we're assuming both that these women are soon to be stay-at-home moms. I'm assuming, right? And I know JB's plan was she gonna teach my kid and she gonna make bread. So I know the standard for Cam, but with the Bloom and Amity, I'm not sure if she's going to be working or not. But that the position that they are in is also the same reason why they have to be very grateful for their husbands, because not every man can fulfill that role, right? And
I got a question.
go ahead.
Why? Oh, Ebony, you had a question too?
I think that's kind of a tough one. So neither of my sisters work, but their husbands don't do like crazy jobs. They're truck drivers. It's tough sometimes, but they made the sacrifice. So, my sister, they can't order Starbucks every week. They have to leave some things out. They don't always get to buy new clothes. Their husband maybe take them shopping once a year. My sister was at Famous Footwear today. Her husband's getting her some new shoes. And when she was in there, she's like, these shoes are for me, not for my daughter. And she was so excited about these new shoes because she can't shop like she used to when she was also working. And so I think that we kind of like to believe that stay-at-home moms are like
A luxury.
rich and they're living in these super expensive houses and everything is great, but really behind the scenes we're budgeting. Like last week I was writing down the bills and making sure that we could cover everything, make sure we were going to be comfortable and using whatever is left to get the Christmas presents and all of that, but it's not a life of luxury. It's a life of sacrifice. And I think so many people in this space are like, it has to be 2 incomes. It has to be 2 incomes. But there's a way to do it where it's not 2 incomes. And honestly, I would say in my experience, I've seen relationships where they had 2 incomes and their relationship was struggling. But once the wife quit her job and really started focusing on being a wife and a mom, their marriage it got so much better. Like they don't argue anymore. They know their role. They know where they fit, and they're happier, just generally happier. So I think you have to see it more to believe it, but I've seen it a lot. I come from a line of stay-at-home wives and moms, and I've never seen one that was living like a life of luxury.
So the Bloom and Ebony, what's happening is when she quit her job, she was no longer tired. She could invest more into her home, into her husband. And they actually probably started back having sex, because what happens is when women, their security and their stability is altered, they become very emotional, and the sex is the first thing that goes. So when a woman has to work all the time and then come home and stress out about cleaning and cooking and things like that, they're tired and they don't feel secure. They really don't. I know some would say, yes, they do. No, they don't, because their security is in what they do. They feel like they have to accomplish a certain amount in order for this to work. They haven't yet said, okay, I'm going to submit to what my husband does and make sure this works for our family. But when we can do that, then you will understand that you could live off of 1 income. You absolutely can. But like she said, you may not be able to do Starbucks. You may not have cable, $300 a month. You may not be able to buy Jordans every month. You might have to have the same car for 10 years. You may not have to have the children yet. You may have to plan for the kids, things of that nature. And I'm not saying the woman can't work or shouldn't work. Women can work, but not necessarily 40 hours a week or more. There's still, I think a woman should always be home when her children come home. It all depends, like you said, Cheeky, on how you want to conduct your marriage. But it definitely is not a luxury, in my opinion, to be a stay-at-home mom, because you're still only living off of 1 income. I just think that, again, like she said, we are in so much dysfunction that we feel as though the more money we have, the better off we are. And sometimes that's not the case, especially if it supersedes our marriage.
Yeah, so I don't think that stay at home mother equals automatic luxury, because that's not, most people aren't rich, right? And my point was being that there's a man who's able to sustain what he's doing on a financial level to make sure you're comfortable. Even most as much as you all would like to think men are men and men are invincible, we're not. So there are a lot of men that won't be able to maintain that financial load on their own, and it's going to be very obvious, right? Because there's some men who are very prideful that'll go, I want you to stay at home, and it's like you're not doing the things that's necessary on a financial level to make this work. And as much as I understand you guys are saying it's not luxury, there are certain things that women do want. You may not be those women, which is why the men that picked you are very lucky, because your standard of living is different than others, right? And it may be due to a class, it may be due to your personality, but everyone is unique, right? And in most cases, I think that most people are too selfish to understand and hear what you just said, the Bloom and Ebony, and go, I want to do that as a woman. That's just, and that's not even a woman thing, it's a human thing. Human beings by nature, I think, are very selfish, right? And so when they hear the idea of, wait, if I'm not going to be doing these things, or I'm not going to have the opportunity to do these things that I enjoy, I'm not sure if I want them, right? So that's kind of what I was touching on. But yeah, I don't think it's luxury. I don't think everybody out here that's a stay-at-home mom out here throwing money in the air when they husband leave and then they take baths like Scrooge McDuck. I think y'all be working. Look, y'all got kids. She got a kid right now. She didn't have no kid a second ago. Now that kid is right there with mama. I don't think that's easy.
So what is it that you think that they're, I guess, missing out on that most women would not want to do? What is, I mean, let me just say it like this. That's the part about being a wife. I think that's the part that we're missing. The wife is the person that will sacrifice and do what is necessary. That's the wife. The wife won't think that she's missing out on it. The woman who thinks she's missing out on those things, she's the one that mindset has not changed to be a wife, and probably shouldn't be married as of right now. Or, that might be somebody that needs to slow down and live a little bit more life, or accomplish a little bit more for herself before she says, okay, now my mindset is now one on being about a husband and a family. Maybe that's the difference between the wife and the single woman.
Sure, but I think, to give grace to people in their experience, you don't know what you don't know. Like, people don't know, well, especially, like, funny enough, there's also a woman that was in this space that is now pregnant, and she's told me, no one told me it was going to be like this. No one told me about the bodily changes. No one told me about the hormones. Like, I knew of it, but you don't know what you don't know. Same thing with marriage. Yes, everyone talks about, the things like, yes, I wake up to somebody that loves me, a teammate, blah, blah, blah. Right. But no one told me about the actual internal struggles or conflicts that I have when a decision must be made and I don't have a say so in the same way that I did when it was just me. Right. These things, and I think it's only fair when people experience these things. Now the rubber meets the road, and it's like, oh, this is what this is like. If I would have known this, or had I known, like, I don't know if I would have done it the same. So all I'm saying is I'm giving credence to the human experience and trying to be understanding of both, because I see it. I don't have to experience it to realize the level of sacrifice it takes to carry a child, birth a child, take care of the child, and not have that many quote unquote privileges to make decisions. Doesn't sound too enticing to most people in 2023 because of how our society is built, right?
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's kind of hard to manufacture situations. You definitely going to have growing pains, but the easier it is, or the quicker you adapt to the role of a wife and accept it and figure out what it actually looks like, the easier it is. The more you fight it, the more you fight for your individualism, your selfishness and all of that, the harder that role will be. the quicker you can submit to it, that's what submission is all about. The quicker you submit to it, the better and easier that road will be. And I would think, but it's not that it's going to be just as we're people, we're individuals, we want things, but I don't think there's any decision that's been made between me and Mr. Boss that I didn't know about. Somebody has to make a final decision. So I never felt like, oh, you making that decision and you ain't gonna even include me. So I never felt that way. So sometimes we do have relationship issues that need to be worked out. So I agree with you, but it's just no way to manufacture it in order to tell someone exactly what to expect or how this is going to feel. The best way to put it is you got to die to yourself. Now, does anybody really want to die? No, but you die for yourself to be fulfilled. See?
Hey, Mr. Boss back there. I see you, dog.
See? So it's just one of those things, but it's so much, you get so much pleasure, fulfillment out of it. It's a different world. I'm so glad that these two here three have decided to embark on it. And it's a learning experience. I learned a lot from my husband. I'm sure that you all do too. If you haven't, you will. And you just
I'm not married to a man. I'm just letting y'all know.
It was another woman on the screen when I said that.
I just had to let them know that though. It's 2023. I gotta make it known. Like I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't really move like that. Like I'm a heterosexual male. I'm a straight black man.
Listen, Stan Autry has a question. How you doing, Stan? Let's see. He says another question would be: now we have a child or children. We need more money than complain he has to work more to keep up the lifestyle you are used to. People have to choose a struggle. So let me say this, and you're right, but let me tell you how it should be, how we should go into these endeavors. And I think these two young ladies will definitely do that. And Cheeky ever decides to do it, he'll do it also, because we have talked about these things so much. I think they now have an idea, a blueprint on how it should go. When you're having children, you should be intentional. You absolutely should. I would say if you don't have money for a child, or you don't think you have money for a child, you shouldn't have one. I know when you are married, this is the one thing that we should do, but you have to be intentional with having children, because it is going to require more money. It's going to require more money, and sometimes it requires more space. But if you can't do that, you still have to make work what you absolutely have. Yeah, y'all know we all used to be low income when we was younger. I mean, we never knew we were missing anything. My mama had 4 kids in a 2-bedroom house. You know what I'm saying? We always had what we needed, though. So it definitely can work. It's just all about, like Cheeky said, the lifestyle that you're willing to have. What is important. We get so caught up in so many of the things that are on the exterior or on the outside of our homes that we have no idea what is a necessity. We actually think a Jordan is a necessity. Some of us do. A pair of Jordans, that's a necessity. We got to have some shoes. Yeah, but they ain't got to be Jordans. So things like that, those are the distractions, and those things are actually what makes marriage hard. Because when you don't have them, you're pulling the woman. She could be complaining to the husband, we need this, we need that. And that pulls at him to go do more and more and more. And then with her not understanding, okay, he's out here now doing more and more, so he's not at home. Now you got to take over the role until he gets there. Then she's complaining that he's not at home because he's working and all those things. But understand this, y'all. This doesn't stay this way forever. Kids grow up, bills get paid, all that stuff. So you have to monitor what you actually take on. We create the bills. If we don't want them, we don't have to create them. It's just that simple. But I understand, y'all. I do. We operate in a lot of dysfunction, a lot of pleasing. We have to be satisfied. Our flesh needs something. I get it. But in marriage, you have to definitely be careful. And I would say you definitely need to be intentional with what you're doing. And be smart. But go ahead.
Yeah, man, Bloom and Ebony, just let me know if this is too much. But the last time I remember, you're not religious. So how does that approach, or how do you approach marriage, excluding that factor? Because I know Cam is, and then I know Security Boss is, but what I think people don't remember is you're not, and you made it work. So how do you do that?
It's kind of confusing. So I'm not religious, like I'm not Christian or anything like that. But recently, well, I guess not really recently, but I do see I think the Bible makes sense. And so I do kind of follow the Bible as like a good structure or a good like guideline for a way to live my life. The type of femininity that I follow is biblical femininity. So I believe in the woman, the wife, the mother, and the homemaker. And I see those as 4 separate roles that need to be balanced. And when you're in one role, you're kind of taking away time from the other role. So you have to balance them really well. But no, I'm technically not religious. I'm not Christian or Muslim or anything like that. So I guess the way that I make it work is that things just have to align. The parts of, I'm not gonna say the parts of the Bible that I follow, but the reason why I follow the guidelines in the Bible is because I've seen them, because it makes sense throughout evolutionary biology and psychology. They line up very, very well. The results are very similar. The data is there. So that's kind of how I ended up there. So I am biblical, but I'm just not religious.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
I guess the short answer and how I make it work is that I think structure generally works for most things. And I think the Bible is a great way to find that structure. And I also think that the Bible is full of stories and events and other people's struggles. And one way to not make a mistake is to know that someone else did it and it was a mistake. And so you don't do that.
Hey,
So
man,
if you
I'm
don't
trying
have
to
an
be
elder
like
in your
David
life,
out here. You know what I'm saying? Let me get your wife. I still love the Lord though.
I still love the Lord. Listen, it was they made a mistake. It was documented, so you don't have to do it again. It is, the Bible is definitely an instructional manual.
exactly.
It is, therefore it has a complete blueprint for marriage. But how many people actually will go back and follow? I don't know. I'm hoping everybody does, but it's there for you. But it is a sacrifice. You have to die to your flesh all the time. You have to be like, you know what? I don't need that. Let me read these super chats. Black built like a conquering king. Hey, Black, how you doing? Good evening, SB and SB Nation. Thank you so much for being here. Money, marriage, and media. Hello, sir. How are you? It's good to see you. Love the idea of reunion show. Shout out to the panel. Yes, listen, we had to give them their shout out. They have done, in my opinion, an excellent job this last year, and they continue to do so. It's just amazing to me because we've been in this space 2 years, and they have accomplished so much in this last year. It's been like, wow, a whirlwind. Because when we did the show before this, there was some talks of dating, but there was no marriage. There was no marriage yet, was it? No, it was just talks. And guess what? It was rumors, y'all. That's what it was. It was rumors. We were gossiping. But to see it all come full circle, it's like being a blessing. Ebony was in my wife ed class, writing down, taking notes. Getting ready to get married, still not married yet. And now she's married, has a child on the way. Same for Cam and JB and Tamika and Jedi. This is like crazy. And there are still people out there saying people ain't getting married no more. And I'm thinking, really? Really? This is all around me. And they still not getting married. Are you sure? I'm thinking you just think you're not looking under the right, at the right platforms. Because, all of these people, and there's been some others too, y'all, just in case y'all didn't know, there's been some other ones. You all just happen to be a part of the standard, but there has been some others that have graced my platform here and there, different times, that have gone to get married also, or are currently engaged. So I'm like, I got something to do with this. I'm proud of myself. But anyway, it's just, Ebony, that was a good answer. And that is definitely true. Cam has the faith. So she's looking after the covenant to keep her. And you actually need that because it makes the marriage bigger than you, or bigger than you all. You have something to, you say, like I said all the time, I want to be pleasing to God. I want to make it in. I got to walk that little narrow, I'm going to do that. And it actually makes you feel good, in my opinion. I don't worry about a lot of things at all. So you want that to be your life, and you want to make sure that your husband knows that he's respected and appreciated. And Cheeky, it's just sad that in our space that we have here is that men are not appreciated. There are a lot of good men in this space.
I think it goes both ways, honestly, because I kid you not, man. I've been called a simp way too many times in my life for just being understanding of women, and that junk is getting very aggravating. I'm not gonna hold you.
I guess it's where you hang out at, though. I guess it's kind of where you hang out.
it's not even, it's not that, it's literally miscommunication on both ends, right? Because you do have a problem on a national level with men and young boys and young men, right, that is being not addressed by society in the way that it should, right? Studies are showing these things, all these things are happening, but at the same time, while men are being frustrated in that process, women still feel as if they're not being heard, or they're not being equally represented in certain areas. So they still have complaints. So there's this miscommunication where one group is going, right now we're in the worst state we've ever been in, and the other one is saying we're in the better state, but we still want more. And I think that's the issue. It's not even a space thing; it's a society. So when I look at these things, it's all on a societal level. Like we're just talking past each other. Men don't appreciate women, and women don't appreciate men because um, from politics to culture, we're at the most separated we've ever been. I've never. This is the most amount of women CEOs you'll ever see. This is the most amount of women in technology you'll ever see. It's the most amount of women you'll have make more money than men. This is new. We've never seen this before in any structure of Western civilization, and now we have to deal with it because it is new, and it's causing men to be frustrated, and it's causing women to be frustrated in different ways. So I don't even think it's a this space thing. It's a cultural societal thing. It's really weird.
I see it more so in this space, but even if the woman is making more money or what have you, we still need to be able to show each other appreciation and respect. And it has to start somewhere. It's got to start somewhere. Because it's like you just said, we're talking past each other, but what needs to happen to keep us from talking past each other? What
What
needs to
needs to
happen?
happen?
Yeah. What needs to happen to keep us from talking past each other and show each other appreciation? You know,
Someone's got to concede, but that's the problem.
well,
It's
no,
no
it's,
longer
it's, it's really not though, because you all have, in a way, you have been called many simps because you conceded. These two right here conceded and they got married. Jedi, Jedi and Tamika, same thing. They let it go and they got married. So,
when I'm saying concede, right? These women have conceded to the social norm of women being independent. They've decided to reject that idea
okay,
and
they have
totally accept
rejected.
an ideal that is not normal for today by any means, right? You don't. This is not the norm to hear. I don't know how old the Blooming Ebony is or Cam is, but it's not normal to hear women their age, just in college, that is successful in doing these things, hear them say, "I'm about to submit to a man because I love him, and that's what I think is best." That's not the norm.
Okay, so that's why I say they conceded to traditional values. They are
Right.
saying they no longer want to even hear or be influenced by the negativity or the war. I am now wanting something else. So listen, I would ask Travel One, who is our known troll, how can we get past this and move on to another? Cheeky never concedes to a black woman. He wants to be right. You hear what they're saying about you, right? So I would want to know what needs to happen because, like I said, I see it different. I see in this space, women are just giving up. I don't want to fight anymore. But what I'm saying is I'm going to keep it going that we're going to appreciate our men no matter where I'm at. I just think sometimes men and women both need to be appreciated. And if somebody just needs to say something, then let's do it because it's almost like we're fighting and still getting into bed with each other. What sense does
Right,
that
because we're human. We still like just because I'm frustrated don't mean I don't like booty and booby. Like look, I'm mad. Now get in the bed. Like that don't change. That's part of human nature for those who are heterosexual.
Oh my
Right?
goodness.
Now
No.
the issue that we, like you're saying, yes, people are willing to skip the step of marriage and relationships because they know they have sexual needs and expectations and they're willing to explore that, right? I don't think that I think what we can find if we just look for a pattern is the people like Tamika, the Bloom Amity, and Cam, they've accepted this idea of structure that comes from a judo Christian value system or the Bible or whatever it is. These people, there's a pattern there. That's why I asked the Bloom and Ebony, you're not religious. How do you make this work? Well, I may not be religious, but I follow these tenets because they work. And I'm choosing to accept these things as the truth. And most people today, again, the reason why I know this, because I just put out a documentary about spirituality being on the rise. Most people are not Christians. Most people are not religious. They're taking spirituality into their own hands. Everything is a little bit more fluid. So the tenets that the Blooming Ebony has decided to agree upon and live her life according to, most women are not going to do that. One, because that's just not the norm today. It's on a decline. And then two, the sacrifice. I don't think men have actually thought about how much women sacrifice, especially when they're capable and intelligent. That, because women have ego and pride too. If you think Kim now in her head thinking, I know I can make 100,000. I'm just because I got a baby don't mean women think that way too. I'm not saying Cam can't or does think that way. I'm just saying we can't keep trying to take away the humanity of women and take away the humanity of men and think things are going to work. It's just not going to work like that.
But why would you need to take the humanity away from a woman in order for her to be a wife?
Well, because it depends on what you consider the humanity. The part of being a human is having free will, which is what Jedi was talking about, right?
Right.
Is having the ability to be autonomous. But when
Right.
you accept the role of a traditional wife or a traditional stance, you're willingly giving away or sacrificing those options and choices to a degree. And most people can't fathom that, especially because they're not religious in any way. One, and then two, we've not been raised that way. In society, that's just not how people are raised today.
I don't totally agree with that, because I think a lot of this is based on the bag, chasing the money. And as a woman who has made over $100,000 per year for many, many, many years, it didn't change who I was as a wife. Not at all. Because I still trusted in my husband to be the leader. I still brought home the money and put it in one pot. It didn't matter. It actually made life easier per se, but it didn't change the mindset of me being a wife. That's the part I don't think that we actually understand. I think we think when we make money, we, especially now that we put this 6 figures on top of it, now we become Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman don't listen to nobody. She got to be able to do this and that. I have a Wonder Woman t-shirt. I do think I'm a Wonder Woman, but it's a Wonder Woman wife, because I actually like that role much better than actually stressing out about people and being out in the world, and anything could happen to me anywhere. Understand this. But the more I put myself out there, the more likely things can and will happen. So making money is really, really easy. So it shouldn't alter who you are as a wife if you taking that role serious also. It just shouldn't. But I see what you're saying, because we get it all mixed up, and it means one and the same. Because now I'm a woman and I make plenty of money. I don't have to listen to this man anymore. Why not? How did those two things come together? What difference did it make? And I think that is where Blooming Ebony said, you know what, I'm going to get these books. I am going to go to these 12 weeks of class, and I'm going to learn exactly what it looks like. And then I'm going to come back and put it to the test. And it had nothing to do with the job she chose or the career she chose. This is how it looks. And I can do this. I mean, there's so many professional women that are doctors, lawyers, that they still get this thing right, especially Indian women. I mean, come on. I don't know, but I understand what you're saying, Cheeky. So did any one of you all or both want to add to that?
I think, oh, sorry, Ken.
No, go ahead.
You can go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think you're right, Chiki, with what you're saying, and I don't know what's in the water with like this generation, or why we think so different than SB thought when she was making all that money, and I don't know what really is that different other than just the time that we're in. But like you're right, like it's not I think there's just less of an incentive for women to get married, especially when they're independent. Even when it comes to children, like a lot of women would rather just be baby mamas because they want to be able to leave, without having to, go over another contract. And I don't know why. Like I personally, I would never want to, do that. I could never see myself because no other man is gonna love my child more than his father. So why would I even try to replace him? You know.
Dearly beloved.
So I don't know. I don't have the answer other than what Bloom and Ebony does, what I do, try to find some rule book beyond yourself, because we're flawed. So it's like we can't really give ourselves our own like rules. Sorry, he doesn't like being under this thing, so he's acting crazy. But yeah, I completely agree with you, Cheeky. I don't know what needs to be said. I just think we need to continue to model it, more, and just continue to show the positives of being married.
I agree with that. All right, the Bloom and Ebony, you were getting ready to say something.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I think that a lot of women lack, well, I guess people in general, but we were talking about women, so I'll stick to that. They don't know how to be selfless. When you're working and you earn money, you can do whatever you want with that money, and you can buy yourself bags. Like you're working so you can give more to yourself. But when you become a wife and a mother, you don't really reap the benefits of that until much, much, much down the line, if at all. Like my husband doesn't wake up every day like, oh, you're a great wife. Thanks for dinner last night. It was spot on, great seasoning. Like he's just like, he'll eat and he just kind of sits there and watches CNN. He goes to bed, and then maybe in 3 weeks he'll tell me that he likes my food. Oh yeah, your food when you made that 3 weeks ago, it was really good. Did you make it again? I'm like, where was that 3 weeks ago? And when you have kids, maybe they're 18, and you're like, and they come back and they're like, you're a really good mom. Thanks for the opportunities. And then you're like, oh, like I tell my mom now at 26 how great of a mom she was when I was like 8. Like you did this thing when I was a teenager, and I'm really grateful for that. And she didn't know that I saw that. She had no idea that I even saw it. So I think that's the difference, is you don't get that instant gratification with femininity, with any of the roles in femininity. Even being more feminine, a lot of men say that they want a more feminine woman, but then when they're right in front of them, they don't even see that feminine woman. Right. They still chase the Brittany Renners of the world. Look at half the manosphere. It's, look at what these feminists are doing. It's like, I thought you hated feminists, so why are you talking about them all day? And so I don't know.
Or guess what? When you're standing on the outside of the car and you're just standing there, and Mrs. Boss, I'm like, oh, you didn't open the door. Oh, that type of thing. So, it is, you're right. Sometimes. Chicken, why are you laughing?
You are funny. You are something else. I get why he played that. Like, what? What are you talking about?
Look, that's my bad. We are just so connected.
I know. That's why Dearly Beloved is always going to be beloved, because good for him. Yeah. Good on him, man. That's good stuff. Yeah. But again, she said her age, Security Boss. She's 26. She's talking this way at 26. This is abnormal. She's weird. She's different. She come from a different cause.
That's good though.
She is Timothy. She's different. This is not normal.
She's a standard.
I get that. Right. Wait. So that's the point. My point is this, Security Boss, is not to make fun of her, but to say at 26 to have this level of foresight or understanding and the willingness to do these things is very abnormal, right? I'm 27. I'm only a year older, maybe even a couple months. I don't know when she turns 27. But what I'm saying is, you've picked people that you've already determined to be anomalies and said this needs to become normal, which is an indicator that this is not normal, and the way that they move and operate in their lives is very abnormal. With that being the case, all I'm saying is I understand that, and I'm not against the standard, and I'm not against anything that you've said. I think I've just changed and tweaked, my standard as far as marriage. But what you're saying makes sense. But this is a rarity. You don't meet blooming Ebonies and Cams all the time. That's why Jonathan hopped down quick. I was like, damn, this is the first show. By the third show, it was over.
It was over.
What's going on?
It was a rumor. What you mean? What? But listen, though, Cheeky, listen. How about this? We tend to operate in dysfunction very easily. And if this is the standard, you're included. Why can't we be more like this and it be okay? We've already said the road is narrow, so it is not going to be everybody. But didn't this gives us another option, another way to think about it, another way to maybe do things? Why do we always have to be, quote, somebody else's reality? Why?
I think we're not really given a lot of credit to the uniqueness of individuals, right? I think Cam is introspective. I think the woman Ebony is introspective. I think Tamika's introspective, but those things also apply to Jedi Mike. They also apply to Jonathan. When it comes to people taking a look within themselves to figure out how to be or what to be in order to be successful, that is not normal. That's why so many people aren't successful, right? So you're asking why, but sometimes it's just not in people to do that. So you just got to find the right people to do it with, right? And that's why when you're in those times of hardship or whatever, or where you may feel like you're not being appreciated by your husband or vice versa, husband to wife, you have to remember this person is very unique. That you don't meet people who are introspective a lot. You don't meet a lot of people that have a lot of insight and a lot of sacrifice or willingness to give for the greater good. Like everyone in this call that is married in the short period of time have all expressed this is a test. It's resiliency, it's commitment, it's sacrifice. This is something that I've never experienced to this level before, but I've decided that I'm going to do this. You don't meet people like this. It's odd. It is odd.
Well, I can agree to that. Listen, we got to go back to what Jedi talked about. Jedi talked about free will. You have a free will to do whatever it is you want to do. You can make these choices to do this. And that's what it goes back to. Now, do many people make that choice? No, I don't know. It obviously looks like not, but I also think people don't make that choice because it's not demonstrated. It's not demonstrated, or there are no examples to how it can be. So, we tend to just go with what's normal, what's easy. I want to talk to Dr. Steele, but before I do that, Christopher, thank you so much for your $5 Cash App. Go ahead, Dr. Steele.
Hey, how y'all doing today?
Good. How are you?
All right. Those who are married right now, you're really in a blessed place. When you get older, you're going to realize how blessed you really are. Because when you get older, I mean, your health is going to decline. You're really going to need each other. Let me tell you something. I just came out of surgery, not about last week. And one of the treatments will take assistance. You need to be assisted in, taking something out. And I was lucky that my parents are still living to do that. If they weren't, I would have really been in trouble. A wife, would have solved my problems. So please, in the future, don't let your marriage wane off. Make sure you stay with each other, because in the future, it's going to depend on it. Stay strong.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Steele. We praying for you, hoping you be fine and recover really soon or really quick. You seem to be okay today, but it seems like there's more that you have to do. Is there more?
No, that's
okay,
it.
Good. All right. Good to hear. All right. Well, thank you so much. And we'll see you soon. All right. Thank you. So listen, guys, we've been here about an hour and 30 minutes, and I see that Mr. Banter has to run off. So listen, I want y'all to give y'all final words because I don't want to keep you all. We got the baby. We got Cheeky and Jedi. I was hoping to have the baby, make her appearance today, but we had another baby make his appearance. So we still good. But I want y'all to give y'all final words, and I appreciate this so much. This is very special. I'm glad to see that all of you are doing very, very well. I want you to keep up keep up with it. And I am going to keep up with you all because I want to hear about all of it. 10 years from now, I want to hear exactly what's going on. I really do. And I'll let y'all know what's going on with me too. So Chica, let's start with you.
Yeah. So I guess my final words is I'm glad to see that you all are have accomplished what it is that you want, especially in relationship terms. I know I'm not going to say I know, but it tends to be a big deal for women to be married, especially to somebody that they actually like and enjoy, that can meet them on an intellectual level, a physical level, a spiritual and emotional. So, I believe that the men that you've chosen have done that or are doing that currently. And so I'm very glad to hear that for you. And I also want to say I appreciate you all because I take the time to think about, okay, if I was in the position of a woman, I'd be like, I'm not giving this up. Like, I'm smarter than you. It's just me. It's just my ego. Maybe I got to work on that. Maybe that's my fault. I don't know. But you're a human being, so you got it too. Whatever. Bye.
Oh my God. Something else. You know what you have? Oh, listen, you're not done yet. So either way. All right. Who's next? The Blue Ebony, you're next. All right. Go ahead. Are you having any contractions or anything? Is there anything that we can do?
I'm having one right now, actually.
Oh,
Yeah, this is Braxton Hicks. My stomach is hard as a rock.
Oh, how do you feel? You feel good? You look good.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel pretty good. It's funny because Dr. Steele was talking about his surgery, and it's kind of how I felt being pregnant, because I was, before being pregnant, I was running all the time. I was so active, and then even throughout my pregnancy, like I was still jogging for a while. And then I had one day where I came home and I was like, I can't do that anymore. And like all of a sudden, my entire life changed, and I was just so much more like dependent on other people. Like my mom's here now helping me, and it's crazy, like all the things that I can't really do anymore. Like even like loads of laundry, I can do like one a day, but coming down the stairs 3 or 4 times a day, it's just not. It would be hard. I don't know how women do it alone. Like I don't know how you could possibly do this alone, and even being unmarried and doing it, because I'd be afraid like he can just leave at any moment. I could come home and he can just change the locks in the doors, and you're pregnant and you have nowhere to go and you have no security. So it's definitely a blessing for a woman to be married and be able to have that level of security. Nothing's perfect, right? I'm not 100% secure, but it definitely adds something. It's great.
It adds to your peace to be covered. It adds to your peace to be covered. It absolutely does. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. But I guess just going back to what I was saying before, you're the average of who you surround yourself with and what you surround yourself with. I would encourage women to take a break from social media. I think that's the best thing to do. Even in my recently, I've noticed that there was someone in my life with their increased use of social media. They've gotten themselves into some pretty icky situations. And it's just like, if they had just avoided that group or that Twitter page or whatever, it could have been avoided, And so I would just say, really just try to live, just try to live your own life through your actual eyes, not through a lens, not through a screen. Really get out there and take actionable steps to get the life that you want. Marriage isn't for everybody. I don't think that has to be everyone's goal. I don't think that you're necessarily accomplished if you are married, because you can be in a marriage that isn't successful.
Correct.
Right? You could be in a very masculine frame and married and be very unhappy. And so, just take some time to think and be the best version of you that you can. And you can't really do that behind a screen.
Right. So listen, thank you so much for being here. Let us know when she gets here. But for now, go rest yourself, put your feet up, and let your husband rub your back. Because I know it's hurting. That was my area, my back. So we appreciate you so much. And I'm going to tune in with you Thank you
Thanks
though
for
for being
having
here.
me.
Absolutely. Have a good night.
Bye, Cam. Congrats again.
Good luck to you.
All right, Cam, tell us about it. What do you want to leave us with today?
Okay, now like knowing that she's pregnant, it makes me like for some reason I really miss being pregnant. I miss that. It was such a great experience. This is actually crazy for me to even say. I even miss giving birth, which is it was hard, but it's like wow, it was so incredible. It's so like powerful. I mean, it's the most amazing thing I've ever done. I'm so thankful I had a really great experience. So I don't know. Good luck to her. Anywho, I think this was a great show. I really appreciate you having the show and inviting us back. I think that what I would want to leave people with is just to try your best to be as selfless as possible. I mean, it's hard. It really is hard to not think about your own feelings, especially when you're hurt. You just want to be heard. It's hard to not think about yourself. But just keep working at it every day, and I think it will become easier. And to find your footing, find your foundation, your grounding, and I think it has to be beyond like just your husband or your wife. I think you need to find a footing in the Lord or something that doesn't shake, some type of foundation that will not just shake, because people are flawed and you're going to always see your like flaws in the other person. And so when you have something else to look at beyond that other person, I think it just helps.
Absolutely, it does. We definitely want our marriages based on principles, a foundation, principles, structure, discipline. We definitely need that. You actually have to have that commitment and covenant. That is the makings of a very good marriage relationship. So you are exactly right. It seems as though that you guys are definitely doing that. It is just so awesome to hear JB talk about the shampoo bottle. You just don't. I was like, what? So tell him hello. One day we're going to meet little JB. I know his name is Austin, but I can imagine that he looks just like his dad. So we
He actually looks like me. I'm sorry. He looks like me. That's my twin. I don't know.
Oh, good. Okay, well, good. He's going to change.
He has Jonathan's nose.
He has Jonathan's nose. Okay.
And his head. But
Well, you look great. You have that marriage glow and that mama glow. So keep it up. So that means you're good, and just keep it up and keep loving your husband, your baby, and being a wife. Keep doing exactly what you're doing. Keep pouring into it daily. Never neglect it. And then you will definitely get that 100% back from that marriage relationship. You pour in 100, you get 100 out of it. Absolutely. And thank you so much for being here. Y'all stay close now. Don't leave. But if y'all do decide to leave, let me know. All right. Thank you. Have a good night. All right, Christopher Lee, thank you so much for your $2 super chat. You've come a long way, SB. Thank you so much for that. So listen, guys, it has been an awesome night. I have said this before. I am like a proud mama, but I think there were a couple of questions. If you all have any questions before we go, please ask them now. I've been on here a while. I appreciate you all. I enjoyed the show. This was the standard, guys. This is the standard. It may not be the norm. Obviously, it's not. We are calling for Black excellence. So why not be a part of it? It is a narrow road. It's not easy. Being married is very much a sacrifice, but it can be very gratifying. Being married is awesome to be covered. And you can actually love and like the person that you're with. It can happen. I know we've been taught so many different dysfunctional methods of marriage that we now need to find a different way. And I hope by these examples that we have here that we can actually find a different way. Cheeky is not married, but he is still the example. Hopefully one day he will meet a lady that meets all his standards, and she too will be a standard. And listen, we can come back, do another reunion show, and then all four of them would have met their mates and are happy and are building their families. That's what I'm hoping. But until then, y'all have a very good night. And listen, always think the standard.
Slow.
Yeah, I'm watching the ride, and I wouldn't say I'm shocked, cause I'm hardly surprised. This one's for the ride, this one's for who knew I'd make it, just needed some time. This one's for my wife, could've left 1,000 times just so by my side. This one's for the grind, I knew it would happen, just had the strength in my mind. To the videos, they thought I was a black guy. That's hard to get over. I'm foreigner in the sport, but I'm fully devoted. I don't take it for granted that the door's been open. I knew I was different, I knew I was chosen. A breadwinner, but I'm soft-spoken. Authentic like a 5950 and there's no cap. Let's have a toast to that. Let's have a toast